At 30, I started with 10,000 SIP. In 15 years now, that SIP has become almost 90 lakhs today. At that point of time, if I would have thought कि 10,000 से क्या होएगा, आज वो almost 1 crore बन गया है. A lot of videos are now showing me the ways that how you can create 10 crores kind of corpus. These videos are showing how. None of these videos are talking about why.
Rajendra Kothari is a wealth management expert. He has built a rupees 50 crore corpus through smart investing and financial planning. In this episode, he explains how working professionals can take control of their money with simple and powerful strategies for saving, investing, and growing wealth.
The biggest mistake which people do right into the first, second, third year of jobs, they
Oh, let's say this is my 1 lakh rupees. So here's my money. You tell me how to allocate it effectively.
So start करते हैं पहले जार, which is your needs. तो 20,000 आपका गया आपके wants में. Then comes if you want to achieve 10 crores by 40, you need to start with
Gajendra, these days we see a lot of ads and a lot of videos online which says that, saving X amount of money every month can get you a corpus of 10 crores by the time you're 40. Now, how achievable is this, or is it just another clickbait?
a lot of videos are now showing me the ways that how you can create 10 crores kind of corpus. So all of these videos are showing how. None of these videos are talking about why. Why you need 10 crores by 40. Why you need to
Yeah.
retire at 40. Why is very important, much more than how. How you can still figure it out if you have your clear why. But if
Okay.
you don't know your why, you will not know what you'll do with this 10 crores at 40.
But do you think it's something that one can achieve if they start today?
Of course, you can achieve it. It's not that easy. Most people start at 25, their careers, right? And you're talking about achieving this in 15 years
Yeah.
at 40. If you want to achieve this in 40, of course, you have to start with a much larger amount, right? So just to give you a sense, if you want to achieve 10 crores by 40, you need to start with 1 lakh rupees per month investment and increasing that investment every year by 10%, the monthly investment. And if that investment grows at 12%, then yes, you will hit 10 crores figure in 15 years. But let's be very realistic that how many
Yeah.
people can start off their investment journey with 1 lakh rupees SIP or investment
Exactly.
per month. So you have to, and most people get it wrong there because they think they want to achieve this much early, and they go very aggressive in this, compromising on the present lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which I would not agree with.
Yeah, because it does seem very dreamy to be able to retire at 40 with such a, secure and solid corpus.
Absolutely.
Young professionals, if they, let's say, want to dream that big and want to go for it,
Right.
how exactly or what kind of steps or approach do they need to take early on in their career?
So, of course, we always say that you should start early. No doubt about that. Whenever I'll give you my example. I joined at the age of 24, the corporate world, but there was no one to guide me. None of these kind of videos were there, right? We learned very hard way by trial and error. So for the first time, when I started my SIP of 10,000, I was 30, and today in hindsight, I think I was pretty late. So my suggestion to these youngsters is that when you're starting at 25, try and at least start with 10% or 20% of your savings to make it work for you. And gradually, as your income increases, keep increasing that amount every year by 10-15%. That's the best way to go. So you have to make a balance. You have to enjoy your present today, and you have to plan for your future as well.
Gajendra, starting early is one thing, but many of the workforce, which is just entering the corporate world, the freshers as we call them, their salaries are still as low as 20-25,000. Some are even management trainees, and their salaries could be even less. So when you say start early, they could also be a little intimidated by the whole, concept of investing, because they're like, oh, but we're earning only this much. अब इसमें खर्च कितना करना है, save कितना करना है, and how much to invest. So how should they sort of navigate this?
So I've always believed no matter how much you earn, you'll always feel restricted. So suppose you are earning 25,000, take out 20%. You only see 20,000 in your bank account. Go that and spend. You will not feel guilty about it. So Warren Buffett says, don't save what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving. At 30, I started with 10,000 SIP. And in 15 years now, that SIP has become almost 90 lakhs today. Now, at that point of time, if I would have thought कि 10,000 से क्या होएगा, आज वो almost 1 crore बन गया है. So if you're doing 5,000, and 5,000 is not a very high amount, people can do it, right? तो आज 50 लाख हो सकता है 15 years में. So of course in the first 10 years you won't see any difference, meaningful accretion. Every 5 years then later it starts taking big steps.
But let's also talk about some diversions or some halts in that journey. Financial goals. When we start earning finally after, finishing college, finishing your master's, if at all. We all have those goals. Let's say I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house. How should I then plan that? Because I want to save, I want to invest. But like you said, you also should splurge and you also should enjoy that money that you have made work for you. So how can I do goal planning simultaneously with investment planning?
It's very important. First thing starts with what are your goals, and you have to be very clear about those, right? So if you want to buy a car, decide what kind of car, what will be the budget, and in what time frame you want to buy. Is it 3 years, 5 years, right? Be it holiday planning, right? Or be it purchasing a house. There's something called SMART goal: specific, measurable, right? Realistic, time bound. You have to be very clear that I'm suppose we're in 2025 right now. In next 5 years, I'm going to buy a car which cost me 40 lakhs or 30 lakhs. Then work backwards to achieve that 30 lakhs. Today, I need to start maybe a 15,000 rupees SIP. Now, do I have that or not? So you may have 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah.
And the total SIP for all those goals might come to 50,000 or 70,000. And you might say, look, I don't have 50,000 per month. I have only 25,000 per month. Then you have to prioritize it.
Plus, there are simultaneously other goals that are working in your
Absolutely.
brain.
You have to be very clear and you have to prioritize. Okay, this is coming much closer. Let me first focus on this. Retirement is much longer. Let me just put 5,000 or 2,000 or 3,000. Let me first try and get my car goal or my holidays goal. Because look, money may returns, time doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to buy a Harley Davidson or a luxury bike or a car, this is your age. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend on these things. After all, why we are earning money for?
Yeah, we should be able to enjoy it.
You should be able to enjoy it. But you need to find a balance. And you need to be very clear. I've seen a lot of people. So suppose, of course, you want to buy a 20 lakh rupees car, but people go for 50 lakh car. You are going much out of the budget.
Yeah.
Just because your friend has bought it. And you're comparing your own thing with your colleagues in the company. Look, they all come from different journeys.
Everybody has a different
goal,
background,
their family background. You can't compare what your colleagues are buying and you anchor to yourself on that.
Since we're talking about life goals, one of the big or most common ones is buying a house. And there is a lot of debate around it, whether I should rent it, what kind of pros and cons it comes with, and or whether I should buy it. Now, how do you think a young professional or any salaried person should make that decision whether or not renting is for them or should they invest and actually buy the property?
When you're just starting off your career, I think buying a house is always the biggest question in your mind. The moment you've earned your first salary, your parents tell you, and you are about to get married, everybody pressurizes you to have your own house. Chalo ab ghar le lo. Settle ho jao life mein.
Yeah.
Right? So I think this is one of the life's biggest decision. You shouldn't take it in a hurry. मैं मानता हूँ कि first 15 years of your work life, you should be on rentals. Because first 15 years are about very high growth opportunities in life. Within cities, within the same city, you'll be moving different offices, different companies. Right? And you might be moving within cities also, from Bombay to Bangalore.
And more
to
so
Delhi.
for salaried workers who are constantly being transferred, taking up new roles.
Absolutely. And I've seen nowadays, thanks to globalization, you're moving out of countries also.
Yeah.
So you can't take your house to all these places. And it's not a good idea that every place you buy a house and then either you sell that and you buy another house. It's too much of a bandwidth issue, right? So I always say rent a nice property, nice place, stay closer to work.
Can I live in a rented house and still be working on my dream home? Let's say I have a retirement plan in my mind. I want to live in the hills or I want to buy a beach house or something by the time I'm 40, 45, 50. So can I at least start planning for that and start saving for that?
Of course, just like a house is made brick by brick, why not the savings of the house be made sip by sip? Every month, maybe 10,000, 15,000, start putting that. And after 15 years, that becomes a huge pot of money. In many tier 2, 3 cities, you talk about hills, countryside hills.
Yeah.
You can actually buy the entire house that 15 years of SIP.
That's true.
Even if you want to buy in Mumbai or a metro city like Bangalore, at least 50-60% of the down payment can come from that savings. then all you have to take is just that 40% of the remaining amount as loan, which doesn't really impact much because after 15 years, your salary would have gone up much higher. The EMI component of that house would be far lower,
Then it
far
seems very
insignificant.
small.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the biggest mistake which people do right into the first, second, third year of jobs, they buy a huge flat. You know what other mistake they do? Suppose you are just young, married, a 2 BHK would suffice. But they start thinking about, what if you have kids, 2 kids, each one of them would need room. My parents might come once in a year for 15 days. I need a room for that. Some guest would come. They end up buying 3 BHK or 3.5 BHK. And imagine the EMI that you have to pay to buy that 4 crore, 5 crore property in Bombay or Gurgaon, places like Mumbai. Once in a year kind of requirement, every day you're going through that stress. Because EMI, no matter whether you have job or no job, you have to pay EMI. And we've seen, and if both husband and wife are working and too much of the component goes in EMI, it creates a stress, it creates fights, money fights, because of the stress of EMI.
Gajendra, we've talked enough about intangible assets and the value that they bring to the table, but I want to talk about tangible assets as well. And let's say this is my money, my 1 lakh rupees that I earn every month. And you're the planner. So help me plan and allocate this money across different brackets, different baskets, whether it's essentials, my fun and leisure, lifestyle things, preferences, and of course, investments and savings, because that's what we're here for. So here's my money. It's all yours now, and tell me how to allocate it effectively.
Absolutely. Thanks, Karunya, for this. I think this is real money.
Yes. So these are 20 notes of 500 rupees. Let's say they're 5,000 each, and this is my 1 lakh corpus.
Wow, good. So let me show you a very innovative way, because I think, we all understand tangible stuff. That's why Indians love property and gold. They want to touch and feel it. So I can feel this. Now let me show you how you can do mental models. What is the best way to plan for all the goals that you just laid out? Let me show you in a very unique and innovative way. So start करते हैं पहले सबसे पहले jar. This is the most important jar, which is your needs.
Right.
घर के खर्चे, राशन पानी, rent that you have to pay.
Yeah.
और सबसे ज्यादा खर्चा एक इंसान का इसी में जाता है.
Right.
इसमें भी हम 2 scenarios लेंगे. एक scenario when you are not married right now and you are staying with your parents. तो आपका
there's no rent.
There's no rent.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. तो generally, if you're staying on rent, I'm assuming right now you're staying on rent, okay, and you're married, like, और आप पेरेंट्स के साथ नहीं रह रहे हो, तो आपका सबसे हाईएस्ट खर्चा जो आता है एसेंशियल्स में जाता है. 50% of your money goes in needs segment.
So out of that 1 lakh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So half the money is gone right there.
It's gone. ये खर्चे पता नहीं हर मंथ आते रहते हैं और कभी बंद ही नहीं होते हैं. It doesn't stop, right? So ये हो गया needs. फिर 20% is your fun, leisure, unwinding.
That's what we earn
weekend money for. So उसमें it is 20%. तो कितना गया? 20,000. So 20,000 आपका गया आपके wants में.
Right.
Don't ask me money.
Right.
You can't question
me. So that was
this.
needs and then wants.
Then wants.
Right.
अब हम आते हैं something called personal growth. Right? So यहाँ पे 10% upskilling yourself. All those courses online that you have to do. So that आपकी अगली बोनस ज़्यादा आए, आपकी सैलरी ज़्यादा बढ़े, and you get that edge. So 10%, 10,000 rupees per month, you should be investing in those upskilling things.
Right. In making yourself better professionally.
In making yourself better. Because always remember, investment in yourself pays the best interest. You're putting in knowledge, you're putting in yourself. और इसका जो returns है, इस पे निर्मला सीतारमन जी को टैक्स नहीं लेती है. राइट. इसको कोई चोरी नहीं कर सकता, ये हमेशा आपके साथ रहेगा. सो यू शुड इन्वेस्ट फॉर द लाइफ टाइम. मैं आज 20 साल हो गए, आज भी मैं इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ. ओके, सो दिस इज देयर. देन कम्स 5,000 or 5% of your monthly income has to go in buying insurance, protecting your family from any financial calamities. What if something were to happen to you? What if tomorrow, one meets with an accident? और डिसेबिलिटी हो जाती है, तो क्या? तो ये 5% में आपका टर्म इंश्योरेंस,
राइट,
एंड हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस.
But a lot of 20-year-olds, please go ahead.
Yes.
A lot of 20-year-olds are like, why do I need term cover? I'm too young for this.
Right.
And or maybe their employer is paying for it.
Absolutely. So very good question. Suppose you are the breadwinner in the family. Your parents have spent a lot of amount in raising you and in bringing you to this level. अब अगर वो आपकी इनकम पे डिपेंडेंट है, ये वो आपके फ्यूचर पे डिपेंडेंट है, then you have to protect yourself. तो टर्म इंश्योरेंस तो मस्ट है. if your
over
parents,
and above what the employer is giving.
so many employers might not give you term insurance, at least when you are starting. Only when you become senior person resources key member, term insurance मिलता है. But generally 25-30 में बहुत कम company insurances cover term insurance. Okay. So if parents are not dependent on you and you're not married, nobody's dependent, then only health insurance.
Okay.
Not term insurance. Right?
Yeah.
So and because you are 25-30 ना 5% में हो जाता है term insurance.
Yeah. The younger you are, the less premium you pay.
Health insurance, it's much cheaper. And one more thing, even if your company is covering you in your health insurance, have a standby cover. Have a separate cover, because what if you change jobs?
Yes.
What if you're in between jobs?
And I've known a lot of people who have fallen prey because of switching jobs, and in that gap, God forbid something happens and then you have to pay out of your pocket.
Precisely. And that could be severe,
Yeah.
Particularly if there is an accident or a large critical illness that comes. So 5% for your health insurance and term insurance. And then 5% for your emergency fund.
Okay.
Every month, जो आप कमाते हैं 5%. Basically, if both husband and wife are working, so at least 6 months of your household expenses should be in emergency fund.
And this fund should be liquid, like it should be in my savings account?
No, it shouldn't be in your savings account. Because savings account में क्या होता है? It gets spent. You see it, you spend it. It should be either in a bank FD.
Okay.
You know that this is an emergency fund, you can break it in the middle of a night. Or it should be in a liquid mutual fund.
Okay.
Right, which you can withdraw in 24 hours.
So basically, it's working for you even when it's...
Precisely. Because in the savings account, you're earning 3.5-4%. In liquid fund or an FD, you're getting 6.5-7%. So it's working harder for you. And finally, this 10%. Start investing for your goals. Maybe short-term goals. Like you can divide 2-3 goals and put 10%. 50% or 25% in your retirement, 25% for your car purchase, 25% for your down payment.
Okay, let me tweak the situation a little bit. We've already dealt with what it looks like when you're paying your own rent and sustaining your own livelihood. Let's say I live with my family, with my parents, and I have no rents to pay. So how does this change then?
A lot of your needs, which was 50%, is almost now zero in some sense.
Yeah,
right?
There's so much more I can do.
There's so much more. But as a responsible child, you should still be contributing to your family's finances. Even though your parents can take care of, but now that you've started earning money, you should have some contribution for your own self-esteem. So, ठीक है, 50% आप करे थे, at least can you do 25% now?
Okay.
Your parents will feel very happy about it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25,000.
25,000.
Give it to your parents, give it to your mom. Mom, आप खर्चा करो घर चलाने के लिए. So 25% आपने घर पे दे दिया.
Right.
आपके wants जो weekend money, Saturday, Sunday, 20,000. आराम से enjoy करो. Don't ask me money. Then जो आपका ये personal growth वाला था, चूंकि आप यहाँ सेव कर रहे हो, why not use it for your own growth? तो यहाँ पे आप पहले 10% कर रहे थे, आप उसको 15 कर दो.
Okay.
Because this will again help you earn more money later. So 15% यहाँ पे. Your insurance component doesn't change.
Right.
5 का 5,
right.
5%. Your emergency fund doesn't change. Right?
Another 5%.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30% you have now for meeting all your various other goals in life, which is
a lot
holidays.
More. And it's a lot more.
It's a lot more now because you have much more flexibility. 30% goes for your short-term and medium-term goals. आप अपने holidays की planning करो. आप अपने गाड़ी खरीदें, dream car, house purchase at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
Retirement. ये 3-4 goals की आप planning 30% में से आराम से कर सकते हो.
So people who probably have a hybrid work situation, work from home, or living in metros with their parents, they have so much more to invest.
So much more to invest.
Yeah.
So this changed the equation completely. So you're really blessed if your parents, you're able to stay with your parents and save this much money. It gives you much bigger head start compared to many other folks who don't have this luxury. You can actually create different funds. In particularly mutual funds, FDs, it's very easy. You know that this FD is for this goal. This mutual fund, like मैंने आपको बताया, liquid funds is for your emergency funds.
Yeah.
Short term goals के लिए आप debt funds choose कर सकते हो. 3 से 5 साल की गोल के लिए एक hybrid fund choose कर लो. और उसमें तब तक डालते रहो जब तक आपका गोल पूरा नहीं हो जाता है. Right? Don't withdraw your money sooner. ऐसा नहीं कि अचानक iPhone 16 आ गया because my colleagues have bought it. मैंने कोई और गोल को तोड़ा. I'll buy car later. I'll buy. Then you are not following your budget. If you stick this, and it is very easy thanks to technology now. You have a lot of apps these days wherein you can do budgeting. You can put
you can track your expenses.
You can track your expenses. You can track your investments also. You can track your goals.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. और अगर आप ये करोगे, not just you'll be able to achieve this, it will ensure long-lasting financial peace within the family. You'll never be stressed about money.
You know, what you said sounds really good and really simplified. But that kind of fiscal prudence, the financial discipline that's needed, especially for a new professional, how can we inculcate that or create that kind of a mindset so that we are constantly disciplined over the years, no matter how much we earn, not earning, taking breaks, but that saving continues?
So the reason why most people could not have been because they never had this big picture. They never, nobody could understand this in such a simplified manner. आज मैंने आपको ये जो दिखाया, everybody can do it. It's not a rocket science. It's just mental models. आपको पता है कि ये पैसा मेरा इधर जाना है, and you can see it, you can feel it. The moment you have clarity on your goals, then the whole how कैसे करना becomes much easier. Of course, शुरू में आपके पास थोड़ा struggle रहेगा. आपका थोड़ा हो सकता है you may go little off budget sometimes, but at least you should try and come back within the means.
Is there a checklist? The first steps, how to start this journey? Because the first steps are the hardest. Like everybody else, I also have some short-term goals, some medium-term goals, and some long-term goals. So, given that, where should one go about parking their funds across different assets?
Wow, congratulations. You are very few people who I meet who are sorted out कि मेरे ये goals हैं. 90% of the people have no idea on their goals also. They are very random, right? So now that the big picture is done, as in goals आपके पता हो गए, you have to just make a plan. कि short term यानी less than 3 years.
Right.
Medium term यानी 3 to 5 years. And long term मतलब 5 years and beyond. ये picture clear है? So जो short term goals हैं, उसके लिए debt funds. You can't take much risk with this money. ये पैसा आपको 6 महीने, 12 महीने, 1 साल, 3 साल के अंदर आएगा.
Right.
So you have to be safe, which means you can think of earning maybe 6 to 8% kind of return. A little better than FDs, right?
Okay.
आप चाहे तो, if you're very conservative, can put money in FDs and enjoy whatever bank gives you. Or if you are a little more knowledgeable, you can put your money in debt funds, which has more flexibility and little better returns. तो वो आपने debt funds में डाल दिया. देन 5 साल का पैसा है, 3 से 5 साल का, तो हाइब्रिड फंड हो गए. हाइब्रिड फंड में भी कई कैटेगरीज होती हैं, बट यू कैन पुट समथिंग लाइक डायनामिक एसेट एलोकेशन फंड, जहाँ पे ऑटोमेटिकली फंड मैनेजर changes the asset allocation. तो उसमें anywhere from 8 to 10% you can expect, better than FDs for sure.
Okay.
And anything which is 5 years and beyond, you can put in a normal diversified equity fund. Again, हम सुनते हैं equity funds में भी बहुत सारे funds होते हैं. So I would suggest you can put in a flexi cap fund or a multi cap fund.
Okay.
These are diversified funds where the fund managers have the choice to put in small cap, mid cap, large cap. In a multi cap fund, minimum 25%, the fund manager has to put in each 3 category, and the remaining 25%, it's upon the discretion of the fund manager. You don't have to go in sector funds, small cap at this stage as you are beginning your career. Only after 3, 4, 5 years, once you become more knowledgeable, then you can put some of your risk money in those risky funds. But otherwise, these 2 category
funds. But initially,
funds,
I should avoid.
You should avoid completely. Okay. And if you're a DIY investor, do it yourself. You don't know which flexi cap or which multi cap, just put in a basic index fund. Okay, Nifty 50,
like the Nifty index.
Nifty 50, Nifty index fund, right, where your money is going in top 50 companies. Or if you want to go little more adventurous, put in Nifty 500 index fund, which has 70% large cap, 15% mid cap, and 15% small cap. You're buying the best 500 companies of the country.
Is buying multiple, let's say some people get carried away and they've invested left, right and center in 10 plus funds.
Correct.
Is that smart?
No, that's a dumb strategy. That's really a dumb strategy, because they think by mutual fund itself is a diversified vehicle. When you're putting even 5 crores rupees in one single equity fund, your money goes into 50 different companies. And let me just give you a context. Warren Buffett has $150 billion and it is in only hardly 25 to 40 stocks.
Yeah.
And out of that, 50% at one point of time was in a single stock Apple.
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm now suggesting that all your long-term money you can put in an index fund, it's very diversified. So you don't need 10 funds, because and by having 10 funds, you have anyway did a lot of overlapping.
Is there an ideal number of funds or a range that one should have in their portfolio?
So if you're going with active funds, see, when I say index fund, then there's no overlap.
Right.
One index fund, Nifty 500.
Yeah. They're all tracking the same index.
It's a one index only, right? But if you still believe, no, I want to beat the market, I need some fun kind of thing, then you can have at most 3 or 4 diversified equity funds, not more than that. And when you're choosing those 3 or 4 also, I can give you a breakup. So maybe One fund is FlexiCap fund. Let the fund manager take a call which spectrum of the market the fund manager wants to play. Then you have one multi-cap fund. At least you know that 25% has to go in one category. Then one small cap fund if you're a very daring investor. And particularly this money is for very long term, like your retirement, 20 years. Then of course, India is a growth country, 20 years, India will...
Things will only get better.
Yes. So small cap fund give you that alpha.
Yeah.
And one, you can choose thematic fund of fund. Again, or you can choose between thematic fund of fund or a international fund. Like you want to get exposure to US markets or a developed world market, but one of the two. So not more than 4 to 5 fund, then you're truly diversified. Like one flexi cap, one multi cap, one small cap, okay, and one thematic fund to capture on the themes or international fund. So this is how you can create your portfolio beautifully without overlapping into each of them.
Interesting. I also want to sort of move on to another very interesting and controversial instrument, which is credit cards. Now, again, time and again, slightly older, old-fashioned people tell us stay away from credit cards. It's bad news. Just avoid it wherever possible.
Right.
But there are people who also talk in favor of it. Now, how can young professionals effectively use a credit card without hurting their CIBIL score and actually making it better?
Yes. So credit card, like you said, is a double-edged sword, right? You can take advantage of it or it can ruin you completely. Once you have done those jar wala activity and you're very disciplined about that, then having a credit card is a great idea. Credit card can give you a lot of benefits. You remember I spoke about emergency fund? Credit card can also be an emergency fund for you. And credit card can be a good way to spend money for day-to-day items, electricity bill, and so many rewards. So swipe everything through credit card, but knowing very well where the money is going, right? And make sure that within your credit due period, you pay back the amount. You don't overrun into it. And never ever take cash, never draw from money from the ATM on credit card because you're charged 3% interest rate from next day onwards. That's a very bad idea. So credit card का ये मतलब नहीं है कि you have unlimited power and you can use it wherever you want. You should be spending on all those things which you would have anyway bought from your normal UPI transaction or your bank account.
So that repaying capacity.
Repaying. अगर बैंक में पैसा नहीं है, no way of spending through credit card. The money which you can't pay it back, don't even buy it. So I use that way. Every month, my expenditure also, everything is on credit cards, but I make sure that it is paid. And it gives you a lot of peace of mind.
But let's not forget, there's so much happening today and the young people are going around, traveling, multiple things, juggling multiple jobs also for some of them. Let's say I have missed out on my credit card payment deadline or my loan EMI and I have made a default.
Right.
What are the repercussions am I going to face and what could it do to my CIBIL score?
So a lot of people, what they want, they don't understand. They just pay the minimum due amount.
Yeah, that is another thing because it says minimum due and I want to just pay off the bare minimum and get away
because
with it.
they never understood the implication of that. They think minimum due amount dene se kaam ho gaya.
Yeah.
So anything that if you don't pay the credit card in full, next time if you have an outstanding balance, next time if you're incurring anything on credit card, you don't get that 45-day window.
Oh.
Your interest rate starts hitting you from day one then. Okay? Because you have outstanding balances and it starts bringing down your credit score. So you should make sure that you're paid in full. Don't carry forward. Agar koi baar emergency aa gaya, you have, then try and settle that as soon as possible. If you have to bring down your expenditure, wants, ya baki investments bhi nahi kar sako, if you have to break your long-term, short-term goals, first make sure that you have no credit card liability. This is a complete no red zone.
But in this 20, 30-year-old journey that we are working towards a retired, peaceful, independent life, financially independent life, how often do we have to review or reshuffle or rejig our portfolios?
Look, I always believe that particularly for the long term, equities has to be the way for the young India to capitalize on this, to make themselves wealthier. So for all my money, at least if it is 5 years goals, it has to go in equities. Now, it's completely up to you whether go large cap or mid or small cap. The difference is not much, but volatility is very high. So even if you can stick to index funds, like which I said, you still beat 98% of the other people. So that's one. Second, which I would strongly recommend is invest your money in NPS. even in the new budget, up to 14% of your basic pay,
Yeah.
if your employer puts, that 14% is not counted as a part of your salary. You don't have to pay tax. That's separate. And silently it builds your retirement corpus. And within NPS, you have aggressive options wherein you can put 75% of your money in equities, and it compounds all the way till 60. Like last 6 years, my NPS returns have been around 12-13%. And I've been saving taxes on that straight away.
Yeah.
It's a benefit. So it gives you a kicker. And at 60, you can either withdraw 60% of that, or in next 10, 15, 20 years, it will become much more flexible. You can do SWP also. Right now, of course, you have to buy pension or buy an annuity product.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in the next 15 years, it will become even more flexible. So please do NPS investments. Second, and the final thing which I said, don't lock yourself much early into life into heavy EMIs. That's a mistake which people do, which I have not done. Because the problem with EMIs is that it makes you very less risk averse. Imagine if you have 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh EMIs, and when I'm saying EMIs, people have 2 or 3 EMIs. They may have education loan running,
car
because
loan,
car loan,
education, everything parallelly.
Everything parallelly. So एक खत्म नहीं होता, फिर वो एक और ले लेते हैं, एक खत्म नहीं होता है. Then what happens? Even if you don't like your job, you're stuck there. आपको आपके बॉस की किचकिच सुननी पड़ेगी, because you can't take risk. Even if you wanted to learn something, take sabbatical, you don't have that leeway.
Yeah.
Right? And look, as I said, I've never been a believer of retiring at 40s and 45, because karoge kya? But I'm a strong believer that you should work from 25 to 65, but you should take beach mein sabbatical. You want to do some courses, you want to travel, reboot. That's going to be very important. तो reboot करने के लिए आपके पास flexibility होनी चाहिए. EMI आपसे ये flexibility ले लेता है. So ये गलती आप ना करें. Have very less amount of liabilities.
Before we wrap up, Gajendra, you've given us some really good insights and interesting anecdotes of other people's experiences. But if you had to go back in time and advise or give some financial lessons to your 25-year-old self, what would that be, or what would you have done differently?
So as I started late. So I started at the age of 30, 6 years late, which means whatever I'm going to create wealth today, if I had started 6 years, I would have created double of this by now. That's the power of compounding. So that's one. Second, I was lucky that I got into the right industry, as in what I love. So, while I was working abroad and earning almost 70-80 lakhs rupees per annum, I wasn't very happy because I was getting very good pay living in central London, but I was not really enjoying my work. I knew my calling was somewhere else, and I could take that plunge. Unfortunately, today in our country, when I meet 80% of the people, they are stuck with the work which they don't like, they don't enjoy. They are doing it because
they're tied up.
It's a compulsion. घर खर्चा करना है, EMI देनी है, लोग क्या सोचेंगे?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's biggest irony of life. You are just living a life, you're not enjoying it. The new youth, when they are working from 20 to 50, they're not just doing a job, they're loving their job. And from 50 to 80, they're not doing retirement, they're living the best life. Right? So I always believe that at 50, you should not stop even. So today, technically, I can retire, Karunya. I'm 45. I've got enough bank balance. I can retire. Right? But today, I'm more charged. For last 6 months, every Sunday, I've been coming to work and putting my efforts, right? Because I love this. And I know that I'm going to do this till 80, 85 also. Because this is not just passion of my life. This has become purpose also. So the day you realize that the work that you're doing is really passionate, you feel passionate about it, or it has become now purpose, you're doing something meaningful, impactful, then money is a very small thing. वो तो पैसा आ जाएगा. At least you're living a great life which you wanted to live.
Great. And on such a high note, thank you so much. We'll end it here. Gajendra, great chatting with you and getting all these valuable insights. I'm sure our viewers can also use a lot of this, a lot of the actionable points as well, to help them augment and enhance their financial journey.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of Workwise with Naukri. And if you like this episode, do not forget to share it with your friends and family. And please do subscribe to our channel for more such exciting content.